And are you guys ready to go?
I know, wow. You really have some time
You guys do
before.
have time if you want. Or you just.
Do you all want some chat time or?
Yeah, no,
Sure,
I'm
good, all right.
Yeah, sure.
I think we're good.
Yeah, get done early, get done early.
Let the ball rolling.
Bring it.
When you guys are ready, go for it.
So we're Perfect Mitt. I appreciate you all taking the time to listen to us today. I'm Connor Bright. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Perfect Mitt.
I'm Abhishek Patel. I'm the Chief Financial Officer.
I'm Weston King, the Chief Marketing Officer.
I'm Sabi. I'm the Chief Operating Officer.
Baseball, the game of inches. The glove, a player's sidekick. The second most important thing on the field, behind the player. Of course, in baseball, the glove is the most important thing, so we need to make the glove in the best shape possible. At any one time on the field, there's 9 different gloves there. This means that we need to have the glove able to form to the hand and keep a nice semi-closed desired shape that everyone dreams of so much. Sometimes in baseball, however, this is not practical. Either when you're running sprints or you throw the bag and you throw the glove in your bag, it can get flattened out, like this one. We need to have a product that keeps the glove in that semi-closed shape. This is why we created the Perfect Mitt. The Perfect Mitt is the perfect solution to the perfect fit. Every child wants this perfect mitt because it's going to keep the shape of that glove that everyone sought after so much. Used as a shoe treat for your baseball glove, we're going to have it be a plastic-like material that molds to your hand and that you can easily slip in and outside of the glove with ease. This is because sometimes when we're on the field, we need to take the mold out and easily play with it, or when we need the mold, we can easily slide it in.
Once again, I'm Connor Bright. I'm going to be talking to you guys about the solution. So is this problem relevant? Before we get to the survey results, let me give you a little story. I play baseball. I've been playing all my life, so I know everything that has to do with my baseball glove, taking care of it. It's really special to me. It's part of, I love it because it's part of my game. So over the years, I've noticed as I get into higher levels, my glove would be flattening out as I put it in my bag after a game, or it would just be thrown in my car, whatnot. So I always had the problem of my glove being flattened when I take out my glove, or my bag, so I'd have to reform it every time I play a game. So this was a huge problem. And then I looked around, and I saw that many of my fellow teammates were actually having the same problem. So I knew it was a valid problem. So let's go into our survey results. We surveyed 250 people, and they ranged from athletes, baseball and softball, parents of those athletes, as well as coaches. So those were the three people that we broke down into. Our first survey result was 42% of baseball players said their main problem with their glove was deforming and flattening out, what we're trying to solve. And this is an amazing result because it's right behind the biggest problem, of course, which is breaking in the glove. So that was a great result, and we were very happy to see that. 64% of baseball players also said that they'd be interested in purchasing a product or a solution, just like us, to solve these problems that they're having with their gloves. So it's another fantastic number. We were very happy to see that. Moving on to coaches, 73% of coaches said that they think the problems with their gloves, such as flattening out, hinders the performance of the athlete. So if we can solve that problem, we can attract coaches. 73% of them say they would be interested. So we could attract those coaches, and they'd be interested in maybe purchasing a product for the team. Lastly, our last piece of most valuable survey information was 50% of parents said that they'd be interested in purchasing a product to make their child's glove last longer. So this is fantastic because more than half of the parents that we surveyed, they'd be interested in maybe looking at our product, so we could reach out to them, which is fantastic. So is this a new idea? Absolutely not. There are competitors to us. As you can see on the screen here, there's 3 main competitors that we found. The first one being WebGem, second one being Glove Wrap, and Glove Guardian. Glove Wrap and Glove Guardian are both sold by the same company, Buck Athletics. Let's first talk about WebGem. WebGem is a hard foam insert that you can put on the outside of your glove and fit it inside the web of your glove. So it always keeps the fit and the shape of your glove how you like it. And there's a wide range of these products. There is ones for all types of mitts, first baseman mitts, catcher's mitts, outfielder's mitts, and so they have a wide range of products. However, it's impractical because if you can see the price, it's $90. That's almost the price of half a mitt, which is super expensive. Next, we have glove wrap sold by Buck Athletics. Now, this is an affordable price, and this what has a plastic ball protruding from the wrap, and you stick that inside the web of your glove, and then wrap the wrap around so it stays in shape. This is okay. However, it's not super practical because you're still flattening out the glove with the wrap, so you're still wrapping it around, which is not completely practical. Glove Guardian, sold by Buck Athletics, is a case that also has that plastic ball protruding from the case, and that you stick your web inside onto that plastic ball, strap it up, and put it in your case. And this is impractical because as a baseball player, you're not going to want to be carrying more stuff. You want everything in the same bag. You just want to carry your bat, your cleats, and your baseball glove all in the same bag to the field. So how are we different? How are we different than all these competitors? Well, there's 6 things that we value the most in Perfect Mitt, and let me tell you about them. First thing is we're inside focused. As you saw with our competitors, everything was external. They weren't focusing on anything on the inside, which is funny because the inside is the most important because that's where your hand is going. That's where they have each individual finger pockets for each in your glove. So we're going to create a product that it's a mold that would have each finger and it would be able to each fit into each finger pocket and creating the best fit like you're in a game. Next, we're completely custom. So we're going to be customizable to if you're a professional athlete, if you're a little leaguer, if you're a man player, if you're a woman player, if you have small hand or big hand, it's all going to be completely customizable to you. We're also going to be affordable. Our goal is to reach around a price of $35. Now this is great because it stays within the range of the Buck Athletics products, as well as being completely more affordable than the WebGem product. We're also going to be making out of long-lasting materials, so it doesn't break inside your bag. It's also going to be very minimal. It's not going to be taking up space inside your bag. It's just going to go right inside your glove, and it's just going to be there. It's not going to be bulky. It's not going to take up space. We're also completely innovative. I'm super excited because we haven't seen anything like this on the market before, and so this is really cool to us that we're a completely innovative product.
Hi, I'm Sabi, and I'm going to be talking to you about the operations of our company. So, our product makes money on solely its initial sale. Currently, our total direct materials cost is around $14.48. This includes the price of plastic, outsourcing, and shipping. From there, we determined our retail price, as Connor mentioned, to be around $35. We determined this number through our surveys. Our surveys told us that most people are willing to pay anywhere from $25 to $50 for our product. 35 seemed like a great number since most of our competitors are priced around $50. As we continued on from there, we did some research on a website called Statista. Statista told us that there are approximately 5 million players out there in the U.S. who are currently in the sport. And then from there, we determined that our total addressable market is worth about $189 million. Not only does this tell us that our market is large, but it tells us that a selling product is in fact possible. From there, we found our service addressable market, which is approximately 54,000 players, and we're looking to make about $2 million in revenue. We basically found the number of players who are playing currently in Illinois. From there, we found our direct market share, which is approximately 1,000 players, which gives us a revenue of approximately $35,000, and this includes the players who are planning on targeting first, and they live in Naperville. So you might be wondering how we're planning on getting the word out there. We're planning on taking advantage of 2 major platforms, YouTube and social medias. YouTube is really a great platform because it's large and tons of baseball players use it to develop their product or to take care of their product. And YouTube is really great because statistically 88.4% of baseball players use YouTube at some point to break in their glove or help maintain it. And then social media, on the other hand, helps us narrow down and target those people who we know will buy our product. And although it's not cost-free like YouTube, it's not very expensive, which is why it's a great resource for us to use.
Okay, I'm Abhishek, and I'm going to be talking about the MVP. In terms of our MVP, we wanted to create something that was exactly like the final product. And in order to do so, we had to make sure we met all of our UVP features, the unique value proposition. And one of the features that we always boast about is customizability. Being able to have protection for an outfielder glove, infielder glove, catcher glove, whatever glove it is. And we had to make sure we could do something like that. So we thought of, why not make a mold? And this mold is right here. You guys can pass it around and check it out. This is just our initial mold that we made right now. With the help of alginate, casting plaster, and molding powder, we have the ability to replicate anyone's hand. But there's many risks with this problem itself. This is very time consuming. So as a business incubator class, we have to make sure our data can back up what we want to do. And if that takes too long, we don't have the data and we can't move on forward. Another problem is that we're giving this to high school people, and they're kind of reckless. So if they throw that around, it's gonna break, it's gonna fall, it's gonna tear apart. So what we learned from this failure is that we're still in the research and design phase, and we need to look at other resources, other avenues, and truly find that right product for the MVP. With that being said, we're looking for $350. We've talked to multiple plastic industries, and they say that we can charge between $50 to $100 for a prototype. And that was just a verbal agreement, just telling them the idea. So we're not really sure if that price is still definite. We also have this company downtown in Naperville. It's Naperville Running Club. And what they do is they make feet, soles, and you put them in, they use an X-ray, and they make design shoes depending on your foot. So we thought, hey, why not put a hand in there, see what can happen, we can make a glove for it. So we also have a lot of household items that we want to show. Do you guys know about those little string things that you can bend and cover them or take them into anything, like in elementary schools? They use for like toys and stuff. We were hoping let's just get a ton of those, wrap it up, and make it into a hand, because it's flexible, it's bendy, we can put it in any type of glove you want. So we want to make sure that this $350 can truly encompass all the avenues and resources that we want to go into. And the $350 is convenient because it's the maximum amount. We're not going to go over, and we can promise you that we will use $350 properly. All in all, there's three things we want you guys to carry out of our presentation. Is our idea for the MVP, how much money we're looking for, and the opportunity this business has in the markets. So board members, who wants to be the perfect fit for the perfect Mitt? Thank you.
Let's see.
They were 30 seconds over, but.
Ooh, your first one.
But
First one's over.
I try to pick it up
But you
again.
started early, so I tried to give you a little grace,
Yeah.
so.
I'll start. I thought you were all excellent. I mean, you were so polished and so poised. It was absolutely excellent. And I really appreciated how you went through the numbers, starting with a personal story, because that's powerful, right? Just your own experience. And I don't want to compare it to other groups, but you were very clear about what you surveyed, who you surveyed, what it meant to you. And to me, that was very powerful, because it means that you know what you're talking about and you've researched it. And I think we'll talk more about financials, but the picture of $35 and the pieces where that conveyed a lot of really good information in a very simple way. And you clearly thought about the pricing as well, which is a hard thing to do. I guess just my kind of general question is, in a perfect world, so if I bought this, what would you like to ship to me? Like, what are you thinking? I know you're still thinking through it in terms of different types of materials and how you would do it, but what could this be, or what are some of the other ideas that you've had? So if someone bought this, because you're not going to want them to go anywhere, I think, right? You want them to be able to do it in their own home. How would that work potentially?
Okay, so we talked to our mentor about this, and this is one of the biggest problems that we had. And we were looking at it, we saw this other company, they do this thing for gloves for gardening. I'm not sure if you guys are into gardening or anything, but they have gloves that are specifically designed for gardening, which is crazy. I thought it was the craziest thing. So we went in and we emailed them, like, what do you guys do? And they said they use this paper thing, and they draw around their hand like a turkey. From like elementary school, you make a turkey out of your hand. That's exactly what they would do. And we were hoping we can do something like that, maybe send a piece of paper over to them and they could just draw it simply like that or
But
something.
yours has to be kind of 3D, because you're trying to keep that,
Yeah.
right?
3D printer, yeah. That's one of the things that we're actually thinking about for $350, one of the avenues we want to explore.
We had Naperville Running Co. also contact us at the breakfast meeting that Connor went to actually, and that technology that we were touching on would also be a very big impact, and see if we could actually find a way to scan someone's handmade with a phone app. With a phone app or something along the lines of you can take different pictures of your hand and get that idea as well.
I love it. I think it's very creative and based on your numbers, something that has a lot of potential. One thing that I would say, and I love the presentation, I love the idea, is I wrote first as you were kind of going through the beginning, okay, tell me, and I'm a non-baseball person, why is the shape of the glove so important? But then as you got and told your story, which I loved as well, I think maybe at the beginning, tell me performance and longevity. That's really important to me as a consumer, because how do you differentiate yourselves from the others? And it improves performance. and enhances longevity of the glove. So that was the only thing that I found, but very good. I'm gonna be intrigued to see what you guys come up with, because I know there's something out there.
Well, I mean, you're still very conceptual. So there is an absence of financials other than you did have, I think, a really nice graphic trying to look at material costs, but reality is you're still trying to figure that out, right? So I have little to offer really as far as advice and as far as your financial presentation, because really what you're saying in your request for funding is to find an avenue for materials to determine what you actually can construct. So I have that correct?
Yes.
We want to test out a lot of prototypes.
I understand,
Absolutely.
yeah, I got
Yes,
that.
so.
I think that's really kind of where I'm looking. I understand what your ask is, because you have an idea. I think it's an interesting idea. Lord knows I used to be a baseball player, and I think my old Mitt still has a ball that's sitting in the pocket, in the webbing. So, interesting. I'd like to see it really, how you guys develop it over the next, few months going into the pitch, simply because I'm intrigued. I just need more info.
I think Nikki brought up first, we talked about your platform skills, the way you walked in the room, the way you looked, already sets the stage of, we're gonna get something good here. And then your slides backed it up, and the way you spoke and the way you shared it, 10, give you very high marks. Opening, love the opening, tell the story. I wrote down performance. Everybody's played baseball at some level. I don't know that I understand if there's a performance issue, so I would really appreciate that. I understand how everyone will go out there and open it, but is there anybody out there that could give you performance data? It'd be awesome if they could, because then people will be more likely, because all my mitts at home are the flat ones. So I don't have any nice lever.
Yeah.
Then the other thing I wrote down is I was one of the YouTubers, and there's 100 different ways to break in a mitt. Shaving cream and cars, and is there any way you can get some credibility? Is there a leading one anymore of how you break in a mitt? Is there one with YouTube with 1 million hits to where they could give a referral to your glove because we broke it in the right way, now here's the right way to care for it? Is there, I don't know who that is, but I know there's gotta be 1 million hits for baseball.
Yeah, we would have to do some digging, there's definitely some popular.
It would be wonderful if you could get them to endorse your idea.
Right.
Because that's 1 million hits for free, or
Yeah.
you even share some royalties or something like that. The MVP, you were credible, and just I wanted to give you $350 because of how you presented it. But I'm really still not 100% sure, other than trust us, we won't spend more than $350. I'm not still real clear on what you do with it, because this isn't gonna work. And I put down, I want to make one other point before you speak, is that I love that you admitted failure.
Yeah.
That's a spectacular thing. You weren't embarrassed by it. That's a good, no one wants this right now, so, but it's a great start, right? It's a great start. So I like that I wrote down, great that they failed and are moving on. So give me a little more in the 350.
So what we did for the 350 is, first of all, I took into account all the prototypes, all the manufacturers that we counted, and we also took into account those little niches, those little ideas that we had, and we make sure that threshold will only reach 350. We're not going to some big name brands and asking for $400, $500 worth of prototypes. We just have these select few ideas that we want to go in and get them.
Okay. Okay. That, we're used to a little more, we're gonna spend $80 here, $74 here, 90 here. That would add a little more credibility if you did that, rather than trust us.
Yeah.
It just helps.
We generally speaking have it segmented, like, based on, like, we want to spend this much money on, like, this idea versus, like, another idea. Like, we mentioned the Nick Bunning Company idea.
Yeah.
We're probably going to be putting more money into that versus, like, the string things that you find at home.
That's valuable information
It
to be
is.
shared, and that will add to the credibility and to the trust. Okay?
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Nice
it.
job, nice job.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thanks.